Hello everyone, welcome back to the Sly Cooper Wiki. My name is Shrev, your usual host, and today we are going to be looking at Sly 3 Honor Among Thieves. Now, we've already seen the North American variant, which if you haven't seen a few videos on that, they'll be in the description down below. Today what we're actually looking at is the PAL release of Sly 3, which is, in particular, this version is the United Kingdom version. Now these games were released quite a bit apart from one another. The North American variant, as you might recall, was released in late September of 2005, specifically September 26th, 2005. The PAL variant that we see here was actually released almost 2 months later on November 18th, 2005. I'm not quite sure why there's such a gap between the releases, but that's sort of how those two games released. Now, right off the bat, we're seeing a few noticeable differences. The covers are obviously very different, though the art style is the same, as opposed to in Sly 2, the PAL and North American variants did have slightly different art styles on their covers. Here we see Sly and Carmelita leaping probably from a rooftop, and we see a few other sort of comic strip-esque designed panels featuring other characters such as Bentley and the Shaman, or the Guru as he is finally called in-game. Of course, we also have an advertisement for the 3D glasses because this game did have some 3D missions that you could partake in. Additionally, this game, for whatever reason, does get a 3+ PEGI rating. Do keep in mind that PEGI at the time was divided into 3, 7, 12, and other ratings that I can't quite recall. This one got a 3+, whereas the one in North America got an E10 rating. I'm not quite sure why. These rating boards do operate independently of one another, so obviously an E10 does not correlate quite well to a 3+, but that's not my decision to make. Additionally, we also have a Fire It Up sticker. Now, I'm not quite sure what Fire It Up is. There hasn't been too much information about that on the internet as far as I could look into. From what I could tell, it was some sort of marketing promotion for certain PlayStation 2 games. They had a bit of a marketing campaign going on with random commercials that didn't really explain what it was about.
Fire it up!
And I'm not quite sure what it is about. If you live in the United Kingdom and do know what this Fire It Up program was, please do let me know in the comments down below. I'd really be interested in figuring out what this is. And for this is also a UK exclusive thing from the looks of it. And it is a sticker, by the way, in case you were curious about that. Moving to the spine, we see probably what we've come to expect from PAL spines. They're not too interesting, to be quite honest. They've got the name of the game and the identifier and a PAL banner at the top. The identifier in this particular case is SCES 53409. I mean, it just gets the job done. There's nothing too fancy about it, and yeah, there you have it. That's the spine. The back is where things get more interesting. We follow that same sort of comic strip-esque style that we saw on the front cover onto the back cover as well, with certain features being being advertised here, such as Sly's costumes. So for some reason he's thinking of mad multiplayer modes. Bentley's pickpocket pole, which was heavily advertised. The boat from Canal Chase with Sly and Bentley, and Murray's Aboriginal ball form. Additionally, we also have a pose of Carmelita with a speech bubble saying that the word on the street is that the sneaky raccoon Sly Cooper and his gang are planning their biggest caper ever, and they're on the lookout for new recruits. Don't even think about joining up or you'll have me to answer to. Very compelling, Carmelita. I thought people wanted to buy this game. Anyways, with all that said, there is another advertisement for the 3D glasses. In some fashion, you know, it gets the job done. And additionally, we also have a SlyPS2.com URL, which differs from the SlyMask.com URL that is seen on the North American variants. Some of the North American variants, that is. Honestly, in terms of screenshots, these are different screenshots than what we see on the North American variant. There's not too much to say. There isn't even a 2-player screenshot here, though it is mentioned that there are multiplayer modes. There isn't a screenshot of that anywhere to be seen here. Moving to the inside, we see that the differences continue. And that art style with the whole comic strip sort of thing does continue on to the discs. So that's what we'll look at first. They look similar, not gonna lie. I mean, they are the same game, but the discs themselves are stylized differently, with the PAL region focusing more on that comic strip sort of design, whereas the one on the left features that sort of Sly 3 artwork that we also saw a bit of on the front cover. Specifically in this comic strip, these comics represent the panels from The Adventures of Sly 2 Issue 2, where Sly goes to meet Mugshot in the jail to get more information about the Cooper Vault. I find that pretty nice. It does connect the comics a little bit more to the game than what you may be used to seeing. But other than that, I mean, really, there's some legalese. There's nothing too dramatic about that legalese. It's just a game disc at the end of the day. The manual is where things get a little more interesting, and there are 3D glasses. I'll cover that shortly. The manual is where we see differences similar to Sly 2, where in the sense the cover of the Sly 3 manual is not another worn-out Thievius Raccoonus, but it's also not just the straight cover of the game. It's actually an interesting artwork. It features the whole gang as if they were getting their mugshots taken, and it does give a bit of context to what the heights of these characters are. The manuals themselves they convey information, but interestingly enough, these are also portrayed with their own mini-games, so it's a bit of a coloring book. You might notice that these manuals, the pages of this manual, are black and white, and that's because you could actually color these in, and there's also some mini-games, such as connect the dots, more coloring, go through a maze, and go through another maze. So it's pretty cool. I've never seen a manual like this before. Obviously, from a collector's standpoint, I don't really want to mess with it, but it is kind of cool to see that sort of interactivity within a game manual, because I especially was not expecting something like that to occur. Interestingly enough, I just realized the manual does feature quote-unquote spoilers for what characters will appear in the game. Obviously Murr will be there and the Guru will be there, but really you didn't really know about Panda King, Dimitri, or Penelope, so I don't know. It's there. If you haven't played this game before and you read the manual, you might get a bit of a spoiler. Oh well. Additionally, with the United Kingdom copy, we get a Fire It Up brochure, and this is about as much info as I know about the Fire It Up program. It seemed to have been some sort of promotion with these specific games. I don't know why Sly 3 was a part of it, and why others, maybe like Ratchet & Clank and Jak and Daxter, weren't. But again, if you have any information about this, please let me know. I'd be very interested in hearing you out. Finally, we move on to the star of the show, the 3D glasses. Now, interestingly enough, these 3D glasses are actually different from one another. So here I have the North American version of the 3D glasses, and here I have the PAL variant. And we see some interesting differences. For one thing, the PAL 3D glasses are one piece. So you might recall from our Sly 3 unboxing that the North American 3D glasses come in 3 pieces, and those pieces are contained in the manual that you can break out, whereas these 3D glasses are one single piece. Additionally, the design is slightly different between the two. The North American ones are a bit wider and a bit more narrower, but the actual blue and red lenses are a bit smaller on the North American version as opposed to the PAL version, which has bigger cutouts for those blue and red areas. Again, not really too groundbreaking. They both get the job done just fine, but it is an interesting difference that I wasn't really thinking I would see between two regions of a game. And with all that said, that brings us to the end of this unboxing of the PAL version of Sly 3 Honor Among Thieves. If you guys enjoyed this video, feel free to hit that like button. If you're new here and want to see more unboxing videos like this one, feel free to subscribe. And if you want to see us unbox something sooner rather than later, definitely let us know in the comments down below. As always, this has been your host, Shrev of the Sly Cooper Wiki, your #1 resource for anything and everything Sly Cooper. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.